Combs did not do this all on his own. As I mentioned, Combs has been charged with RICO conspiracy. He used his business and employees of that business and other close associates to get his way.
The sex trafficking case against defendant Sean Diddy Combs is what's trending in true crime. The superseding indictment filed Thursday doesn't contain new charges, but it is filled with new accusations of criminal behavior, including claims that at least 3 women were forced to engage in commercial sex acts, and that Combs on one occasion dangled a victim over a balcony for threatening his authority. That's the allegation. Now, the statement was issued on behalf of Combs by his attorney, Mark Agnifilo, saying in part, the prosecution's theory remains flawed. The government has added the ridiculous theory that 2 of Mr. Combs' former girlfriends were not girlfriends at all, but were prostitutes. The statement goes on to say Mr. Combs is as committed as ever to fighting these charges and winning at trial. Okay, so the defense doesn't seem too concerned, but we got a different indictment now, slightly different. So how is that going to change things at trial? Let's bring in our legal eagles now. With me, attorneys Don Malarsic and David Bruno. Good morning to you both. Don, let me start with you, please. How do you think this is going to affect things?
Well, you see these superseding indictments as the government's case progresses, and usually it's a telltale sign that somebody is cooperating, right? Somebody has decided to flip, to resolve their case and cooperate against Mr. Combs. The government then goes back and they adjust the indictment. They add details that they know that they can prove through credible, reliable evidence and cooperators. So this is a tough sign for Mr. Combs and his defense. I suspect that as people get involved in this case and they become targets and defendants and they meet with their defense lawyers, they're trying to get a way out. And their way out is offering cooperation and testimony against Mr. Combs. And it feels like that's exactly what's happening here.
Sure does. Great insight, Don. David Bruno, to you next. Your thoughts, please.
Yeah, I agree. Also, look, the soundbite of the U.S. attorney also started with, Combs didn't do this on his own, which is a telltale sign of cooperators. I'm wondering, when's the ball going to drop to everybody else? Is he the only one? No. We know that from the statement. We know this from the reporting. We know this from the civil complaints. Why in the world is it just Combs? You know what also this doesn't have is the witness tampering, which I'm a little bit surprised of, because we were getting reports about the jail correspondence and the use of that attorney file that allegedly was attorney-client privilege, and there was word of in a grand jury on that. So it looks like maybe that ship has sailed. But with this, it also expands the time. It brings the conspiracy back 4 years, the racketeering back 4 years, and also adds other facts to support the racketeering. So what it really does is it expands the scope of relevant evidence. And that's going to be one of the jobs of the defense attorney, is with motions to try to bring it back in. And the statement we got from the defense attorney was, well, these were girlfriends. These were not prostitutes, and it does require commercial sex acts for value, and also the force, coercion, or threats of force to cause the victims to engage in the commercial sex acts. So I think that's where the defense is going to be coming to try to rein it in, while the government is also trying to expand the evidence that they're able to present.
Right. Great points, David. And thank you for noting that about the time frame expanding. In the first indictment, it was 2008 when the government was saying it all began. But then in this new superseding indictment, they're going back to 2004, as you noted. So thank you much for that. We'll leave it here for now, but we'll continue the conversation about Diddy as this case progresses. Both sides saying it should stay on track for the May trial date, and Court TV will be there.